Next up, earlier this month, by a vote of 69 to 30, the U.S. Senate passed a $1.2 trillion infrastructure package. It's called the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Meanwhile, this week, the House voted to approve a separate $3.5 trillion budget resolution. This week, I spoke with UNL Extension Policy Specialist Brad Lubben to learn more about the infrastructure bill, what's in it, and potential impacts on the ag industry.
But it's really been a policy priority of the Biden administration since day one. It was part of the campaign, it was part of the initiative here when Biden came into office, and for the Democratic Congress to push infrastructure as a major new area. We'll see if these two bills have to be married up yet to get to the finish line, or whether we see quite a bit of uncertainty and change yet to come. But that's a bit of the genesis of how we got here.
All right, most definitely. So let's look at a few things in this bill that our ag audience might be interested in. First off, $66 billion for railroads, and that includes passenger and freight. So what are the ag impacts there?
Well, clearly agriculture has interest in infrastructure, and so there's quite a bit of support for various parts of the infrastructure bill, even if there are questions about the overall dollar amount. But investments in rail infrastructure that help with networks, help with efficiencies moving across the country and through the different systems. All of that is potentially contributing to improved efficiencies, reduced transportation costs and constraints, and improved shipping opportunities, particularly for those export market opportunities that agriculture strongly wants.
And $65 billion for broadband. This is an issue that rural areas continue to face.
Right. Clearly, we know of the rural-urban divide on broadband and the importance of broadband access, not just for farm and rural households, but frankly for farm and rural economic activity, the importance of having connectivity in the house, in the field, across the country. Those investments are substantial. Right now it seems as if every package is promising something towards increased broadband rollout of higher speeds, and all of that is helpful. It remains to be seen exactly how it works. It remains to be seen how that couples with existing programs and existing policies. But quite a bit of promise certainly in what we're putting into broadband at the moment.
And then an emphasis on cybersecurity as well, $47 billion. And when I think of cybersecurity, I think back earlier this year, the JBS cyber attack. There was also that Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack. So seems like cyber attacks continuing to be an issue, and definitely doing something to address that.
Right. Well, this is certainly a promise to put investment into cybersecurity. That's simply the world we're living in, that everything is continually at risk of a cyber attack. Anything that it has high priority, anything that is strategic, is a favorite target of cyber hackers and cyber villains. So the fact that there's investment in this, the need is always going to be there. It's important for agriculture and every other sector to be cautious and to be prepared, and this perhaps will help that out.
Have you found that most agricultural groups are in favor of this proposed bill?
You know, I think we see agricultural groups responding to parts of the bill that they certainly are strongly in favor of. The investment in roads and bridges, perhaps the investment in rail and broadband and so forth. All of those are important priorities and have long been priorities for many ag groups that we know of. There is caution and concern about an overall price tag. The $1 trillion plus price tag on this infrastructure bill indicates that it's about $550 billion of new spending, $650 billion perhaps of existing authorities or unspent emergency funds from the COVID relief bills. So substantial new investments or new commitments to spending. That's always a question for any of the fiscal conservatives or fiscal hawks here. But it's not just this package, it's whether this package is in fact a gateway to the even bigger $3.5 trillion infrastructure package. So it's weighing what parts do we like relative to what's the overall bill, and is that worth the bite?
That being said, what could be the next steps here?
Well, we're in the midst of some of those steps as we speak. Is all part of a much bigger negotiation about, will this hard infrastructure bill move in lockstep with the soft infrastructure bill that's being proposed in the House? There are also huge questions in there, not just about spending priorities and new programs, but also about what they call the pay-fors. What policies will pay for this new spending? And if those pay-fors include new taxes, new user fees, new compliance, et cetera, but new taxes, then we get to raise the issue of, or hear the issue of, agriculture's concerns about capital gains tax and estate tax and other issues as well. We're a long ways from the finish line. Arguably, we're not even yet to the starting line. We haven't even yet got the resolution in place to say that debate on a full bill is in fact ready to go. So lots to be debated, lots for agriculture and other audiences to watch closely.